So certainly that's kind of the principles that we've based on for a long time, and just that we try something small, very inexpensive, and if it works, then you can do something more permanent, and if it doesn't, then you can scrap it and start over, use it for something else. So some of the principles of Polyface are the capturing of the nutrients in a sustainable way so that the manure is utilized in the soil by the microbes and the earthworms and everything in the soil, and doesn't end up in the groundwater or in the air, and at the same time having the animals ingest as much green material as possible, which in turn allows us to capture the most carbon and photosynthesis from the atmosphere through the perennial polyculture that we have here on the ground. The farm is 550 acres total. It's only 100 acres open, and the rest goes up the mountain. The interesting thing about this field is that when my grandparents bought it in '61, you could walk from one end to the other and without really working hard at it, not set foot on a grass plant because it was so barren. Now, no seed, we haven't put an ounce of fertilizer or chemicals or pesticides of any kind on the farm since '61, and this is what the field looks like just through good management.
Oh.
By forcing them to move those 12 feet every day, they get a fresh plate of greens, if you will, and move away from yesterday's manure and pathogens. It's grown in small areas next door, and you have like a big. They're only in these for about 10 days. They eat that self-feeder full of grain, and when that's gone, we move. It allows the pigs to put down the same amount of nitrogen in a given area so that we know how much fertility is being put down, so we're moving to the next section. Again, the pigs, doing what they need to do. We don't have rings in their noses. They're supposed to root. They're not supposed to be on slats and cement. Allocation of resources that we've done in our society over the last 30, 40, maybe 50 years, had all of those resources been used for a more sustainable, small-scale fixes, if you will, we wouldn't have the huge problems and the huge fixes necessary that we're looking at today. This type of multi-species stacking, stackable farming beats industrial farming as far as pounds of protein per acre, hands down, any day, all day long, any way you want to cut it. Back to that 75% land discussion earlier, if all of that land was converted to perennial polyculture, the amount of carbon that's sequestered in this grazing and the grass production would pull all of that out of the atmosphere in about 3 years that's been produced since the beginning of industrial age. I think one of the biggest things that I would say is for people to not undersell the little things that they can do on a daily basis. You know, if it's just taking the stairs, growing 1 tomato plant, you know, getting 2 chickens, anything, volunteering at a community garden, you put in the list, whatever, but not to undersell yourself those small little incremental steps. If you could, what's stopping you? You know, if every person that would, we would live in such a totally different society, we can't even dream of it.